Now, God's education and Satan's education. Satan's education starts, as I've already said, with a decrease in the feeling of love. It starts from a decrease in love. As I have said already, 1. We cannot stand in the same position as God. 2. We leave our own position. 3. Reverse dominion. 4. Multiplication of sins. 5. In this way, a decrease in the feeling of love. Because of the decrease in the feeling of love, the original fallen nature invaded us. This is not God's way of thinking, but Satan's way of thinking. Satan's way of thinking. Satan's way of thinking. What is Satan's way of thinking? This is a self-centered way of thinking. Self-centered. If only myself is good, it is good. A self-centered way of thinking, therefore, this way of thinking, as I've said before, is reverse dominion. Insists on your own way of thinking. You don't listen to others. It is good if only you are good. You don't understand your parents' heart. You don't understand your teacher's heart either. Only the self is good, right? You just do what you want to do. You have everything your own way. Then this education becomes Satan's education. Satan's education. What is Satan's education? This is Satan's education. What is it? The desire for honor. It is the desire for honor. The desire for position. The desire for property. Sexual desire. And this case is interesting. This example is a politician. It is easy to understand the desire for honor, which should be knowledge. How to get knowledge should be taught in school. To gain honor, study very hard and graduate from university. For example, you go to the University of Tokyo, you gain a lot of knowledge by studying very hard. And you fulfill your desire for position, you will come to exercise power. You make use of your position and say, I am able. You are Cain. Follow me. This is the Unification Church style, right? This is rather you see than a politician maybe. First of all, you gain knowledge and memorize the whole book of the Divine Principle. You can give an excellent lecture. Then, next, you became a patriarch. You became a church leader. This time you start exercising power. I'm a patriarch. You should follow me. You exercise power. You are laughing. The next attachment is attachment to property. Attachment to power. And attachment to our own position. We have a strong attachment to something and leave to make our own group. You have your own group because of this. I will give an example of a politician. A politician, for example, went to the University of Tokyo and he determined, I will become a politician. And he comes to work at the ministry of something, and next, a good position will be given to him. Then he exercises power. And next, what is the desire for property? He respects people with money. Next is sexual desire. Sexual desire makes us grow apart. That is, they say there is a Liberal Democratic Party or some other party. They establish their own faction and they exercise power in their faction. Then you show your power. My faction has many members. You exercise power. This is exactly like a politician, right? And the Unification Church is also like this. I'm the University of Tokyo graduate. You show your desire for honor. I learn the divine principle by heart and show one's desire for honor. And then you become a patriarch or church leader. This time you exercise power. Next comes money. You spend offerings like it is your own money. I want to invite the patriarch or president here now. And you are establishing your faction. Yes, it's true. I hear the Unification Church does so. Presidents and leaders have their own factions. Somebody's faction, somebody's faction. President Otsuka's faction, and so on. Can I get him angry? They are establishing their own factions. That makes them split, right? In that way, they will split. And through doing so, we want to be happy. They misunderstood that they became happy in doing this. They misunderstood that this would be the supreme happiness. Isn't it funny? This is the supreme happiness. It's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding a great deal. And through doing so, we become happy. Are we happy? What is it? That means to take everything is to gain happiness, right? They are all taking the desire for honor, the desire for position, the desire for property, sexual desire. We all have knowledge. We have power. We have attachments. All these things are taking. Taking is the supreme happiness. In school education, in politics, and what parents also teach children, it is like this. Is that so? Mother too. Don't you think so? You said to children, you should go to school, to a good elementary school, a good college. At school, you should study so hard and work at a good company, and then you should become a director or a chief. Then you should have a lot of money and live nicely. They teach their children in such a way. You should live in a good house, you should get an excellent car, and lead a happy life. To do so, you should study very hard, otherwise not. You teach like this. These things are all taking love. Taking love. What is the result after we practice taking love? This causes battles, fighting. Fighting happens. And how we fight each other. What will happen to us afterward? We become unhappy naturally. We become unhappy. When we become unhappy, then we will be ruined. Ruined. Destruction will attack us. Destruction. And to the last. Destruction makes hell. Hell. We will go to hell. And Satan intended to establish Satan's kingdom through these things. For a long time, Satan has been fighting against God and has been rebellious against God to establish Satan's kingdom. Satan has been teaching us about taking love. Therefore, Satan in this way teaches us that visible things are important. The desire for honor, the desire for position, the desire for property, they're all visible. Oh, that man has honor, position, and a lot of property. He has a lot of things. This means visible things are important. Satan teaches us that visible things are important. Visible things are important. This is Satan's wisdom. And how about God? This is Satan's education. Satan's education. In this way, Satan's education is focusing on hell to the last. Therefore, people in this world now are focusing on hell. Satan does not teach here and here. Satan teaches only this part. Therefore, if people know this part, no one follows Satan's way. Don't you think so? Parents never teach children such an education. Don't you think so if you come to know this matter? You don't know that. Therefore, we say, do your best, and make our children study hard. However, if you know this, you will give up. Nobody follows Satan's education anymore. Don't you think so? It's so, isn't it? And here is not the decrease in the feeling of love. We focus on the perfection of the character of love. This is God's education. We focus on the perfection of the character of love. What is it? Firstly, as I've said before, love of children. Love of children. It means to become the perfection of love according to God's education. Second, love of brothers and sisters. Love of brothers and sisters. And third, love of husband and wife. Fourth, this teaches love of parents. The love of parents. This is the four great realms of God's heart. It is God's love, isn't it? The realm of God's heart. It means God's heart. That is, the love of the four great realms of God's heart is... And this side shows the original fallen nature. Original fallen nature. Original fallen nature. Original fallen nature. This is the original fallen nature. And this side is the four great realms of God's heart. And this is not Satan's way of thinking, but God's way of thinking. This is God's way of thinking. God's way of thinking. Then, what is God's way of thinking? This satanic side is self-centered. On the other hand, this is living for the sake of others. The other is self-centered, to live by ourselves. This is living for the sake of God. Living for the sake of God. This is as it is with God's education. God's education. God's education. This is God's education, this is Satan's education, and God's education. God teaches us that invisible things are important, but Satan teaches us that visible things are important. God teaches that invisible things are important. It is blood lineage. Blood lineage, isn't it? It's blood lineage. And human rights, blood lineage. And public money. Public money. The problem of public money. And love rights. The true Father spoke these things in the Unification Church. Love rights, blood lineage, human rights, public money, and love rights. And they are absolute, unique, unchanging, and eternal. Eternal. Love is eternal, right? And blood lineage is absolute. It means God's blood lineage. Blood lineage is absolute. And human rights are unique. We have only one being, not two. Each one of us is precious. Each one is precious. It doesn't mean you are foolish. You are smart. Each one of you is very precious to God. Concerning public money, money is equally given. This person is rich. The other person is poor. This is Satan's world. We should be equal, unchanging, never changing. And love rights are eternal. Love is eternal. This is the supreme happiness, eternal happiness, the eternal happiness. It's truly happiness, right? This is taking love. Then this side is giving love. Giving love. Giving love. Then what happens to us? Of course, peace will come, and nobody will fight each other. Then naturally we become happy. We become happy. And to the last, then we become prosperous. Prosperity. No one hurts anyone in the wars. And it is the kingdom of heaven that is established through this. Therefore, Cosmic Holy Tenet True Kingdom Federation is focusing on this direction of God's education. And this is God's kingdom. God's kingdom. We are focusing on the kingdom. Therefore, the world so far is on this side. Therefore, we will establish from here the other side. Not Satan's kingdom, but God's kingdom. So far, we have been focusing on Satan's kingdom for 6,000 years. Mankind, and here we have turned over. It was dangerous for so long. Satan's kingdom was almost established. It's because of the failure of the Unification Church. Here we are also dangerous. Therefore, the Unification Church did not accept. Therefore, I started by myself alone. Jesus started by himself in the same way. I started the providence by myself, alive. You walk the providence by yourself, alive. The Father said, and from myself alone, now members multiplied so much. We had been doing providence together with Satan. It was terrible, together with Satan. It was truly terrible. Then, in this way, we should change our focus away from individual. We start from the individual. Start from the individual, the family. The tribe. Tribe. Race. And the nation. And the world. It expands to the world. To the world. It will expand to the world. It comes to expand from the individual, the family, the tribe, the race, the nation, and the world, one after the other. From the beginning of the satanic world expands from the individual, the family, the tribe, the race, the nation, the world, and so on. Therefore, the kingdom of God also comes to expand from the individual, the family, the tribe, the race, and so on. Therefore, it doesn't mean that there is something like a kingdom, and I go there. We, each of us, should establish a spiritual standard of the kingdom of heaven in ourselves. But as long as we do not exterminate Satan completely, it is impossible.